I want to touch on something you mentioned at the beginning. You said at first you were part of this kind of big blocker camp,
Yeah.
and you managed to change your mind.
Yeah.
And then you kind of discovered Liquid, and then you discovered Lightning. It seems like throughout your, career in Bitcoin, you have changed your mind on a few different things, and
Yeah.
you've managed to bounce between different ideas seamlessly. Whereas I find that a lot of the crypto industry, a lot of the Bitcoin industry, is very tribal. You get kind of sucked into an idea, and that is your idea, and you stick with it, and those are your people, and you never change. And it's sometimes very hard for people to
Yeah.
uh, recognize when an idea is no longer valid, or switch over to another idea. I want to get your sense for how you kind of built a mental framework to make that decision, to change from the big blocker camp to, oh, here's this interesting thing you can do on Bitcoin, and oh, now Liquid, oh, now Lightning, oh, now Arc.
So like I'm in general like a skeptical person. I have this skeptical characteristics of me. Like I've been always a skeptical of Bitcoin in the first place. When I met Bitcoin, I got interested in Bitcoin first, like back in 2017. I've been a skeptical, right? Skeptic. And then I moved into sort of big blocker sort of camp. I also been a skeptic about big blockers. Yeah, it's scales based there, but there are some trade-offs obviously, and you cannot even also like you can scale it further, but there's some also trade-offs like it cannot scale infinitely, right? Indefinitely. And like and then I moved to Bitcoin, liquid stuff, and I was also skeptical about liquid, right? Because of it's not perfect. It's a federated sidechain. And then I moved into Bitcoin, exploring the Lightning space, right? And I was also skeptical about Lightning. And then I moved on Arc, and my skepticism sort of turned me into like the work on, like led me to work on Arc, and Arc building and contributing the specs and designing the idea of Arc. And all these things in terms of like scalability, like how can this scale? Scaling comes first and privacy next. So does Bitcoin on-chain scale? No. On the base layer with, if you increase the block size, yes, but it doesn't scale infinitely, right? It scales just more, but it cannot onboard the whole planet to it. And that's also what led me to move into Liquid. But the trade-off there is, again, it's federated, right? And onto Lightning, yeah, it's great. It's a scaling solution, right? But you cannot onboard the whole planet to it. It does it does a great job in scaling, but it's not perfect enough. It's not enough to onboard the whole planet, right? And that I have this idea of onboarding the whole planet. I don't know. I have this idea. I'm dreaming of it. That's what my sort of goal is, like long-term vision is, like to onboarding the whole planet is a big challenge. I like challenges, and so it's a great challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how Lightning can do it. Maybe we can come to that. But Lightning cannot do it, and Arc can hopefully do it. We have a chance at least with Arc. I'm also skeptical, but I'm very confident at the same time. Like I'm very confident that Arc can scale to at least theoretically scale based on the design I have in my mind. And the design I'm reflecting to specifications that I'm working on. I'm currently working on the specs, contributing the specs. I recently started working on it. But theoretically, Arc can scale great, scale in theory, maybe even onboard the whole planet, maybe. At least from the on-chain footprint standpoint, like the upper bound limit, onboarding the whole planet
Mm-hmm.
standpoint may end up not scaling to the whole planet, but at least scaling to a greater degree, right?
Right.
Certainly does a great job than Lightning. And I think in the end, it's going to be a spectrum, probably like from custodians on one edge to non fully self-custodial on the other edge. I mean, in the middle spectrum of solutions, protocols like fed them into, I know, liquid, some federated sidechain stuff. We'll see. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see how it ends up. But I think we should give people an option, like a seamless, frictionless option, because people are lazy. They crave for the best UX. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe, like, if it's not great enough, the UX and user, they just use custodial services, and that's what we see. The trend we're seeing, or Lightning, the challenges of Lightning incentivizes people to prefer custodial solutions over non-custodial, and Zaps, Nostr, they play a huge role in this. We're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but my thesis is that if we make like the UX, custodial UX as frictionless and as seamless as custodial UX like Stripe, strike or wallet of Satoshi. I think people can very well use a self-custodial wallet in that case because there is no friction involved. It's just like a custodial UX, and yet you retain your keys and you retain your self-custody. So that's my thesis. I might be wrong on this. People might still prefer custodial solutions, but I think yeah, I don't see a reason why wouldn't they switch? Because it's as seamless as a custodial UX, but it's also self-custodial. You also have privacy benefits too.
Mm-hmm.
eCash does it too. Like Xiaomi eCash also has privacy benefits too. But I'm just seeing. I'm also skeptical. Like, although art can work in my mind, like it can work, is it strong enough, right? The network. I mean, is it does it really have a product market fit for people? Like, people do really want self custody. I know I'm a Bitcoiner. I'm living in this bubble, Bitcoin Twitter bubble, right? I'm surrounded by plebs, Bitcoiners. Amazing, I love it. But obviously Bitcoiners want this, right? Self custody. But I'm skeptical if people want this, right? Do they really want to retain their keys? I hope they do, and I'm working to give them an option, like people an option to self custody their Bitcoin.